Hello guys, so in today's video I am here to share with you the NMC latest update on English language requirements. We all know that around April-June 2022, National Military Council made some proposed changes to English language requirements for overseas applicants, okay? And they opened a public consultation allowing the general public to have their say. Alright, so the public consultation started 17 June and ended 12th of August. Now again, they had another meeting on 28th of September and they finally made these changes to English language requirement for overseas applicants. I mean, there are some good news here because they made 3 changes to the English language requirements for overseas applicants seeking to join the register. So, if this is what you're interested in watching, why not stick around with me and watch till the end. Meanwhile, my name is Oluebube Muoneme and please subscribe to my channel. Right, so I'll be sharing with you the outcome of the meeting. I'll be reading out the article, okay, following the meeting. So as you can see on the screen, National Military Council, 28 September 2022, English Language Requirements Review. Okay, action for decision. So mind you, these changes that they have made will be implemented January 2023. So I'll be explaining everything for you guys, okay? So under here it says decision required. The council is recommended to agree the changes below to our English language requirements. So number 1 changes that they've made is they said subject to further engagement on the detail, to accept evidence from employers as supporting evidence of the necessary knowledge of English for those who have worked for at least 1 year within the last 2 years in non-registered practice in a health and social care setting in the UK. So first of all, there are some people that are already in the UK working. Maybe some nurses that maybe they came in as healthcare assistants or they came in for studies and they're already working in a care setting. This group of nurses, they're still finding it difficult to get the required score in IELTS, and they've started working in health and care setting. Now, this review that they have made said that you can now provide an employer reference as a supporting evidence. This does not mean that you are not required to write IELTS. You will still write IELTS, okay? But if you're having trouble getting the required score, and you have been working in a health and social care setting in the UK, now you need a supporting evidence, which is employer reference, okay? And there is another clause attached to that. It says, and who trained in English but in a non-majority English-speaking country as evidence of their clinical interaction skills, they will still need to provide evidence that their training and assessment was in English. So alongside with the employer reference, you still need to prove that your courses was taught in English if you're from a non-majority English speaking countries. Now you can browse out to find countries that fall under this category, but it's mostly African countries, of which Ghana, Nigeria is among them, okay? Because English is our official language in Nigeria, so we are under non-majority English speaking country. You need to get evidence that your courses were taught in English, that the clinical skills you had and interaction was done in English. Or another thing you need to provide is that you've missed the required score by 0.5 for IELTS or have a grade for OET on one of the 4 language domains. So you will still write IELTS. So, but assuming that you have 0.5 minimum of the required score that is needed of you to get in IELTS in one of the 4 domains. So it means, assuming that your IELTS exam, you had 6.5 in your reading, okay, and you got the required score for the other 3 domains, you will be considered. But if you have like 6.5 in listening and speaking, you will not be considered. You're expected to have only 0.5 minimum in one of the 4 domains. So if in a particular domain you have 6.5, maybe you're expected to have 7 and you get 6.5, you'll be considered alongside with your supporting documents, which could be an employer reference for those that are already working in the UK. So if you're not in the UK yet, then you need to get a supporting evidence from your school showing that your clinical skills, you know, the interaction and the course itself was taught in English, even though you're from a non-majority English speaking country. So another thing they said is, the second changes is to standardize the minimum test scores when combining scores across 2 sittings. So the minimum score is no more than 0.5 below the required score for all English language domain for IELTS. That is, minimum score for reading, speaking and listening when tests combining should be 6.5, while minimum score for writing when tests combining should be 6, or no more than half a grade below the required score for all language domains for OET. Minimum score for reading, speaking and listening when tests combining should be C+, while minimum score for writing when tests combining is C. Okay, so what this second changes means is that you can combine 2 results provided that you have minimum of 0.5 as regards to what you're expected to get. Okay, the same thing goes with OET exam. If you have C+ and a minimum of C in writing, then you can combine 2 results. Okay, third one is to extend the period of combining test scores from 6 to 12 months. We all know that before now, if you're going to combine your test results, it's usually within 6 months. So now they have extended it to 12 months. And guys, this is good news. So if you ask me. In conclusion, what they're saying is that IELTS is still very much important. So even if you've been in the UK working, or you've come to the UK to study, because they also try to consider those that did their postgraduate degrees here, but they are saying that there are so many complexities as regards to that, because there are many postgraduate studies ongoing. So you still need to write your IELTS. Okay, so the conclusion is that you still need to write your IELTS, but if you have 0.5 minimum in the required scores you're expected to get in IELTS, so assuming you wrote your IELTS and you had 6.5 in either reading, speaking or listening, then you will be able to get employer reference. Then you will need to get some supporting evidence to back it up. But mind you, you cannot sit for your IELTS just once and go for this supporting evidence, because down the line from the article, they also say that you must write this IELTS for at least 2 times. If you're not able to test combine, that is when you start looking for supporting evidence to back you up. So first of all, you must have written this IELTS 2 times, and if you're not able to test combine, and maybe let's assume you're having problem in your reading, you're stuck at getting 6.5, or you're having problem in your listening or in your speaking, you're stuck at getting 6.5, then you need supporting evidence to back you up, provided that you are from non-majority English speaking country. In your country you speak English, but it's not considered as a majority English speaking country, then you will be considered. So all you need to do is to get an evidence. So that one is called evidence type 2, qualification. You need to get evidence that you were trained in English, that you were assessed in English, that you had your clinical skills in English. So the name of that type of evidence is called qualification evidence. The second evidence is language evidence. You know, from that your IELTS that you've written, or from the OET that you've written, if you're getting that 0.5 minimum than the expected score you're supposed to have, that one is called language evidence. So I've said this, for those that are writing IELTS, 0.5 minimum, the expected score. for those that are going for OET, C plus in reading, listening and speaking, and minimum of C in your writing. Then the third evidence is recent practice. For this recent practice is the applicant should be working for the employer for at least 1 year within the last 2 years in a non-registered practice in a health and social care setting in the UK. Okay, this one is called recent practice, evidence 3. So these are the supporting documents that you need. So you know the category where you fall into. Okay, if you're already working in the UK, you're already in the UK, maybe you're here on study visa, you're still finding it difficult to pass your IELTS, you can get this employer reference, evidence of recent practice, provided that your IELTS score is just 0.5 minimum in one of the 4 domains. Okay, so guys, when you're getting this evidence from maybe the school authority, from your employer, the evidence would need to show that the applicant has sufficient English language proficiency across the 4 domains and can interact in English with people who use services, their families, and other healthcare professionals. And the referee should be in a leadership position. The reference should be supported by a counter signatory, also registered with the NMC and in a leadership position in the organization. You cannot just get your reference from anyone. You should be someone in a leadership position and also someone who is registered with Nursing and Midwifery Council and is in a leadership position. Okay, so these are the people that can give you this reference. All right, so these are basically the changes, and to me it's good news because it will favor some people. Yeah, it will favor some people. So if you're out there and you're stuck in getting maybe 6.5 in a particular domain, you've written IELTS up to 2 times and you cannot test combine, maybe you're just stuck at getting 6.5 in reading. You know, in test combining, if one of the reading is 6.5, in another test you will get the reading 7, and maybe your listening will turn to 6.5, you know, making you not to be able to use that result. So in this scenario now, you can test combine. But if you're someone that is just having problem with one particular domain, you're getting 6.5 and you've written this exam 2 times, you cannot test combine, then this will favor you because you will need this supporting evidence to apply. But this will be implemented January 2023. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and if you fall under this category, congratulations to you. Now you need to start making your preparations to get your supporting evidence ready. All right, so that's basically it, and we've actually come to the end of this video. Now if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so. If you have your questions, you still need some clarifications, please drop your comments in the comment section. And if you also have something to say, something to add, also drop it in the comment section. Okay, I love you guys. For now, you take care. Bye.